We've been talking about Youth Skills Day, in fact, World Youth Skills Day, that is acknowledged on the 15th of July. And the UN's theme for 2026 is Skilled for a Shared Future. In South Africa, that future assumes to be the starting point and the basic fundamental millions of children unfortunately do not have. There's approximately 2.4 million children in South Africa that do not have access to a desk at school. Yes, while AI and digital skills are a global goal, you can't teach a child to code if they have never had a stable surface to write on, their own name, that is a desk to write on. Skills gap does not start in the job market. It actually starts in something as simple as where a child sits to read and write. And that is a desk. And that is why we are interviewing Talita Bootram, who is the co-founder and chief impact officer at MyDesk Global. Talita, welcome to Impact 103's Morning Drive.
Thank you so much for having me. Really appreciate it.
So, Lisa, this is something that we're not even aware of in South Africa, with 2.4 million children not having access to a desk at school. You've seen this need and you started MyDesk at 16 with a school science project. What inspired you to come up with this idea? And how has this idea evolved over the years?
Well, what inspired me to come up with this idea was it was actually a science project. So my dad and I were watching the news one day and we saw a segment on children that didn't have desks at school. So they were sitting underneath a tree and writing on their laps. And that got us talking. And we said, if they don't have anywhere to do their schoolwork and if they're sitting uncomfortably, how are they going home to do their homework? When is homework being done? So we went into the kitchen and we made the first My Desk out of cat litter boxes and toy spade handles that we put together and cut up an old bag flap. And that was the first prototype, and it won gold at the science fair. But then, as you know, all science projects are homework. They end up in the garage or the shed when you're done with it. My mom saw the potential in it and she saw the impact it could really have on a child's life. So she added the wheelie aspect, she added the solar light that it comes with. She made it in alignment with the SDGs and got it out there. And in the meantime, I was finishing school and studying. And when I finished my studies, I came back and joined her. And we've since reached over 5,300 children with the MyDesk so far, with a goal to reach a million by 2030.
Incredible. 2030, we were just saying a little bit earlier on the morning drive that it's 4 years away. And to
Yes.
get to a million, it's a tall ask. And you know what? It's not impossible. It's good to have these big dreams and to make the impact that you want to make. Because what it's telling me is you don't want to delay. You want to make sure that this impact is reaching as many children as quickly as possible. And that is the My Desk project that started off as a science project at school at the age of 16 and has become a family business by the sounds of things in the meantime as you were finishing school, a project that really has developed into something quite unique and quite special, and that is going to make a massive impact in South Africa. Today, we're talking about World Youth Skills Day, a UN theme about preparing young people for the future of work, AI and advanced skills. Where does a school desk fit into that conversation?
So when we talk about skills and entering the job market, we often forget that skills that are required to put on your CV are built from your foundation being your schooling career. And if that foundation does not have the basic resources that a child needs to succeed, it often doesn't add to your CV. It doesn't give you the skills that you need. We need to develop problem solvers instead of just job seekers. Job seekers are people that have the skills required for a job. Problem solvers are critical thinkers. They come up with solutions that are needed and are so needed in the world that we're seeing today. I mean, with AI and how rapidly it's evolving, you do need problem solvers because otherwise your job does become redundant. And our research has shown that we have independently monitored and evaluation surveys that the MyDesk we've done on the MyDesk, and it showed that 100% of the schools reported improved focus and comfort, 90% reported increased attendance at school, and 70% reported better handwriting. So you're not just giving a child a desk, you're giving them the ability to succeed, the ability to do their homework, and continue learning and build the skills that they need for the CVs they're going to need in the job market one day.
Incredible stats you're talking about, and wow, making such a difference in the life of a child right through into their adulthood. 2.4 million South African children, as mentioned, still do not have a desk. And what does that actually look like day to day? What are these kids sitting on at the moment? And what are they writing on? While you are filling in that gap, you have already reached 5,300 children, want to reach a million by 2030. But today, 15th of July, 2026, how does that look?
So in South Africa alone, there's 2.4 million children that don't have a desk at school. So at these schools, it either means they're sitting on the floor, writing on either balancing their books on their laps or their knees, and they have to sit on cold, hard, muddy floors for the entire school day. Or it's either that the classrooms are overcrowded. I've been to classrooms where one desk is shared between 3 to 4 kids. And a classroom that's built for 35 learners has now 60 learners. So it affects a teacher's ability to teach. Firstly, they can't even walk through the aisles and reach the kids and look at what they're doing. And it also affects a child's ability to learn. So not having a desk at school affects a child's concentration, their homework delivery, their focus in the classroom, especially their handwriting, because it's not a stable surface for them to write on. And yeah, and then they go home and then they have no homework space. So research by UNESCO shows that by a child just having a designated homework space, their academic performance increases by 48%. So the solution I've built actually allows a child to have a desk at school, pack it up, put their books in it, and then take it home and use it as a homework station as well. And it's one desk per child so that they have their space, they have their dignity and their comfort to learn in a conducive environment.
So this is a desk that a child can take with them from school to home, from home to school, wherever they are actually, and they are able to write, to read, to do what they need to do, to equip them to be effective in their adulthood, to be equipped, that is, in their adulthood. And you have linked this directly to youth unemployment if they don't have this, which sits above 60% for people aged between 15 and 24 years of age. Walk us through that connection. How does a 5-year-old without a desk end up as a 24-year-old without a job?
Exactly. As you mentioned, the 60% stat is actually quite appalling in South Africa. So a desk is one of the earliest investments we can make in a child's future employability. You can't build a digital economy. You can't give them the skills that they need if children have nowhere to learn and write at the very beginning. Discs create this condition needed for literacy, for confidence, for concentration, and they create safe learning environments for the kids. This safe learning environment contributes to critical thinking development, which is very much needed as a skill in the job force today. So, basic skills development does not start with coding classes or the technical training you need for your CV. It starts with literacy and numeracy, and they're developed at a surface to write on, and it's developed where every child has access to a desk and a comfortable learning environment.
Only 30% of grade 1 to 3 learners are reading at their grade level. Is that a literacy problem or an infrastructure problem, or do you think it's both, Talita?
I think it's both. I think that not having a stable surface to write on does affect literacy. Literacy includes both reading and writing. So if a child cannot write properly and cannot form their handwriting, it does set them back. It does slow down their writing in the future and their ability to learn and progress in the classroom. If classrooms are overcrowded, it does also affect the teacher's ability to teach the child. So because there's a lot that the teacher has to deal with in a class of 60 people, and not being able to reach the child and give that personal attention as well that may be needed if they are maybe falling behind. So I do think that that a desk directly impacts the literacy development of a child.
Well, if 3 to 4 children are sharing one desk and you have found a solution in having mobile desks, children that can pack up a desk, take it with them wherever they are, home or back to school, and allowing them to have this simple device. It's a simple equipment to get them ready for adulthood and for the workforce. Somebody's listening to this and they're hearing what my desk is doing and they want to contribute. They want to lower that 2.4 million children in South Africa that do not have a desk. They want to contribute towards the million children that you want to give a desk to. How do they get hold of you, Talita?
So they can reach out to us via our website. It's www.mydeskglobal.com. It's MIDESK global.com. And so while we do have a very audacious goal to reach 1 million kids by 2030, I think goals are important to have so that you can reach them and in a short amount of time, because it is only 4 years. We have increased our capacity on our end to produce enough MyDesk to reach the 1 million kids by 2030. And we're looking for sponsors to help us get on board and help us reach the kids that need it most in the most remote areas across South Africa and across the world. So anyone that would like to contribute to a child's learning environment, ability to succeed in their schooling career and build the skills that they need for their CV and the job market one day, we would be ever so grateful to work with.
So, Lisa, how does that sponsorship or that partnership work? Is it a set amount over X amount of time? Is it a once-off donation? How do you see that working in terms of a partnership for people to make that investment?
So we're actually quite flexible. We've worked with clients that have contributed year on year and committed to multi-year sponsorships, but we've also worked with clients that have done once-off sponsorships as well. So we work with what the client is able to do, and even 10 desks to a child, 10 my desks to children is great to impact than nothing.
In
So we're
term,
just grateful to work. Yeah.
in terms of contribution, how much does one desk cost?
So it's just under 2,000 Rand per my desk, and that includes a child's school bag, their desk, their chair, their solar light with the USB charging portal, and it's designed to have a 12-year lifespan. So it's adjustable in height and allows a child to use it from grade 1 to grade 12 quite comfortably if they look after it well, and they can use it both at home and at school. So it's one investment, one my desk per child for their whole schooling career.
So, Lisa, you have thought of everything. It's not just a desk, it is a desk that equips a child in every sense when it comes to their education. MyDeskGlobal.com is the website that you can go to. Talita will be in contact with you when you do make that contact with her and get her to be part of this project of getting 1 million desks to children in South Africa as a contribution of 2,000 Rand or more, maybe even less. Maybe it's a portion of part of crowdfunding. It's all up to you if you want to be part of this. The web address again is MyDesk Global. That's MyDeskGlobal.com. If you also want to find out what the website is, you can always send your WhatsApp of MyDesk to the Impact Radio line. That's 071 364 0376. Well, it started off as a school science project at the age of 16. Talita is making a difference in 2026 on a project that is something that is needed in South Africa. Talita, co-founder and chief impact officer at MyDesk Global. Thank you so much for your time on Impact
Thank
103's
you.
Morning Drive.